Good morning, good evening and good afternoon. This is Stamp Collecting Fun and it's time to have a look at some more stamps. And this is Peter reporting for Stamping Duty. Yes, it is all our duty, as you know, to enjoy stamps and to get the word out there. So I've started today with a little admission of guilt. Unfortunately, George and I have been on eBay ordering what looked like a good idea at the time, which is a glory box of stamping stamp stuff with hopefully some goodies in there to enjoy. So I thought on that theme I would sort of continue the cartoon a day, helps you work, rest and play. And so unfortunately no cups of tea and no cups of tea. What's going on? And I haven't got my pen nearby, so it's not going to have to be added on this occasion. And no Adolf, maybe he's on holiday. But George's missus is now asking, what on earth have you done, George? In fact, I failed to put what she's saying in the cartoon, and I may have to add that after. Anyway, I'll finish that later on maybe. And maybe add Adolf and the cup of tea. So what am I going to look at today? Well, we talked the other day about the Castle series. And I knew nothing about them and I had no idea that they were quite an iconic feature of stamp collectors, and there's so much going on with the colouring and the watermarks and all sorts of stuff, and who's produced them and who hasn't. And it was by pure coincidence that I saw that Stanley Gibbons boys had done a video on the castles, but not my ones, the ones back in 1950 something or other. Mine were the 1990 something or other. So I thought, well, I'll nip back into my GB stock book and just have a little look at if I've actually got any of them. There were four, that they were mentioning. The fourth one being the Windsor. And there was a secondary run on them a few years later, and they explained to you how you can tell which ones you've got, basically. And despite picking mine up and having listened to them, because I'm not despite all of that, I'm not really able to glean any more information. But I thought, well, I'll just see if I've got some, and blow me, I did have them. I haven't got any of the Windsors, but I got the 2 and 6, the 5 bob here, and the 10 shilling. And what was interesting that sprung up straight away, and I wouldn't have, I sort of knew it, but I didn't, if you got me. The differentials in colour. So that was a very, check that video out if you can. I learnt something from that. But, of course, it wasn't the stamps that I was talking about, the ones that I'd done a little bit of a presentation page for. But I thought, well, seeing as we're in the stock book anyway. Oh, and also they were called the Wildings, they were. And I thought, well, and I think Wildings is the photograph of the Majesty of the Queen's face. So I thought, well, we'll go to maybe where the stamps that I had, where they live, where they reside in this book, and see if I've actually got any of them. And blow me sideways, I did actually have some. A number of them, actually. But only the £1, 150s and £2, none of the Windsors. And none of possibly the other one as well. So what are they? Carrickfergus, that's a pair there. Carnarvon, Edinburgh, and the Windsor one is Absent Without Leave. So I did have some. So that was quite nice to see. And as I continued to turn the pages, I thought, well, what's going on here? I've gone backwards in time here. So I found some old Queen Vics. That from the 96, March the 31st, 8:30 p.m. Postage revenue, halfpenny. Something halfpenny there. So it is quite nice. Oh, look at that one. A nice yellow one there. So the old Queen Vics. And then Edward the Seventh. Edward the Seventh, George the Fifth, I would say that is. Edward the Seventh. So they're in no particular order. I've just put them in by the look of it to keep them safe. A really small one here. And the penny reds. And a, what is that? Sun and head, Maidenhead maybe. Or Birkenhead even. It could be, oh, it ends with head. Yeah, so some quite nice ones. Postal Conference, he was big on stamps. George the Fifth. Maybe George the Fourth as well, who knows? But George the V, yeah. It's the only way he could talk to his children. Oh, it's just one of his stamps. Look at this one, David. And they, of course, weren't interested. Bertie, they weren't interested. But he was. So that's quite nice. So I continued as well, further wild in the gears. As you can see, there's a lot. So I've just put them in there to store until such time that I have a place for them. And this book is filling up with. Look at that big old 20 there. It's a big stamp. And the King Charles is there, lest we forget. I think you've seen these before. Anyway, so that is that. And the next thing I wanted to actually show you is one of my envelopes, which when I come across New Zealand stamps, if they don't go in my collections, they go in this envelope. And then after a while, I take some out and either look at them and see what on earth is going on and if there's anything worth having a little look at. Most of these I will either have or they don't fit with the fruit or the royalty or the geography ones. Totoki, yes, we've seen that many a time, haven't we? This is nice. Is this a creature? Could be. Maori rock drawing. Oh, it's a drawing of a creature. I mean, that's stunning, isn't it? That used to exist, so somebody's drawn that on a rock. A millennia ago. More than a millennia ago. Wow. Te hey. Wonderful, look at the tattoos there. What else have we got? New Zealand, universal suffrage, women's votes, in other words. Unbelievable. They've got it too. 1968. Maybe anniversary that is, so it actually started in 1893. Golly. Here we have the Queen Mother. This is 1937 stamp. Queen Mother and the King, the old King George the Sixth. And 1 penny. Scarlet one, carmine, do they call it? Scarlet. This is one on paper. Don't know what that is. Could be a... You never know with them. They can be creatures or they can be plants. You never know when you go down there because it was cut off for... We're back to that millennia again. Or, half a million years. So things develop a little bit differently there. We'll get rid of these. Oh, everyone's got that. Got that. So yeah. So that, for example, isn't on my list at the moment. But if you were collecting musical instruments or anything to do with music, that would be a beauty. A $1 group of people playing. Roses. This looks modern. Also, the fact it's got 45 cents on it suggests it's moderner. But again, it's one of those stamps that signify nothing, or you've got to work hard to find out what is going on with that. Timber industry, we've seen that in the past. Some big ones here. Chap with his feet up, enjoying the view. $2. So this is 100 years of tourism in New Zealand. And then more from the past, the wool industry. These are so frequent, they make your eyes bleed. Roses as well. This has been pretty much butchered. Dress something clearance maybe. The 10 centre. It's been battered around, that one has. But I still found a home with me. Oh, this could be. Could it be? Could it be? I think it is. That's a Christmas stamp. So I'm going to keep that one out and check on my Christmas page whether I have this or not. And I fancy that I haven't got it. So every now and again, when you dip back in, you find something that maybe is stuck on another stamp, or you weren't concentrating. Majesty the Queen there. The phone went just as you were grabbing some. You see all of these here, very, very common. Her Majesty. She was a happy lady. She had character. Again. Yeah. So, when I buy these stamps, and how much pleasure how many hours pleasure can you get out of them? How much would you be spending in the pub, for example? I mean, that's interesting. What is that? I don't know. It's Saint something. It is possibly a cathedral. Yeah, so if you can get great pleasure out of stamps, which I do, and, I'm paying for some stamps, but if it's worth it, if you'd be spending the money elsewhere to get your kicks, then maybe, you've hit upon something that is giving you value. None of these stamps have got any value. There's no high value to any of them. But they give me time. They give me something. They give me interest. They give me something to learn about. Something to, fiddle about with. Move them around from stock to stock and create little stamp sheet presentations and write on them. And yeah. So you get the idea of it all. So those are my New Zealanders. They will all go back now, apart from the Christmas one, which I will now check against my Christmas collection. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for watching. Check other people who are doing stamp videos. There is so much to learn, and it was just that this morning I switched on YouTube and up came the Stanley Gibbons boys, and I listened to it, and you know what, you learn so much. If you just learn one little thing, one thing a day, suddenly in 30 days, you know probably more than most people on the planet about stamps. Anyway, that's it for now. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.